Well, good Tuesday morning as we watch the snow fly, and this is round two that's more widespread. Round one yesterday, though, pretty significant here from Duluth back into northern South Dakota. Look at some of these totals. 17 inches near Nashua, 13 inches in Wendell, 8.5 inches Little Falls, also towards Mora. And then totals really picking up along the south shore pockets of Lake Superior because they saw lake enhancement. So the regular snow, but then a strong northeast wind blowing across the lake. 17 inches, Gary, New Duluth. And then you get around the Ashland areas, the Chequamegon Bay. 20 to 21 inches of snow around Washburn, and they're going to see another foot today. So places in that pocket especially, but even around the Duluth area, could see more than 2 feet when it's done. Heaviest snow here mid to late morning into the early afternoon. So the next several hours will be when we see the bulk of our accumulation, and then it lightens up through the afternoon, really ending here in the evening hours. But that evening commute probably will be pretty rough because temperatures are cold, road chemicals don't work so well, but also we'll see the snow fall through the day. Now we got to talk a little bit about the ratio of snow to water. This is looking at vertical velocity, so upward lift in the system. No surprise, through the morning and midday is when we're going to see the strongest push of lift. And ratio of snow to water is proportionate to temperature, and the best range is when we get between 12 and 18 below 0 Celsius, which is 0 to 10 Fahrenheit, so single-digit temperatures. At the point where the saturation occurs, where we get that lift, where we get the clouds and the snow to form, that's where the temperature is critical. We want the dendrites, the big crystals with all the arms, those stereotypical ones you cut out in elementary school, because those pile up quicker because they get tangled. Too cold, too warm, you get more needles and plates that stack up. So this is looking at our sounding this morning. Look at this warm layer. You get up into that saturation layer, it was just below freezing at this layer of 10,000 feet or so up, but at the ground, much colder. So what we have is very warm air moving up and over colder air, which is producing the snow. That's a good thing, but it's too warm to produce the best kind of snow for accumulations. That layer does cool off. This is looking at forecast soundings, but it's still outside of that ideal range. I'll put that on here. So we want this green and red line to be more to the left, colder, into that ideal area. So that's why we're not going to see these 20 to 1 crazy ratios that you would normally get with these cold temperatures, because aloft it's just going to be too warm. Still looking at a 10 to 15 to 1 ratio. It's going to be better than probably that average we say of 10 to 1. But that's going to keep totals from being as crazy. Now, further north, that layer will be a little colder, possibility of some higher ratios. And this is on top of the areas almost perfectly aligned that had the most snow yesterday. So still looking at parts of central Minnesota, a foot to a foot and a half in total over 2 days. Further south, less, but still, if we get over 3.7 inches, which I think we probably will, this will be our biggest snow in 2 months. I think 4 or 5 inches, pretty average across the metro, but some of those northern suburbs getting closer to maybe some 6-inch amounts, or at least the best chance of seeing that. So this is looking at it inch by inch probabilities. You see for the Twin Cities, 6 inches. This is for Minneapolis, St. Paul proper. Only about a 15 to 20% chance probably of seeing 6 inches. So not out of the question. If we can get some heavier bursts and that layer cools off quick enough, we could get some brief periods of some of those dendrites or those higher ratios, but probably will stay below that criteria. The snow blows around today too. Winds out of the north, blizzard conditions for pockets of eastern, south and North Dakota, far western Minnesota through 6 p.m. and blowing and drifting snow here too. A high of only about 13. Even colder over the next couple of days. The normal high is 32. We're going to be well below that through Friday. Only a 10 for a high tomorrow, and sub-zero probably tomorrow morning. Wind chills are going to be near 10 below early Wednesday and approaching 30 below in the northern parts of the state. Lots of sun Friday, Saturday, and much warmer by Saturday, near 30, which is actually still a few degrees below normal by that point, but just in time pretty much for March. Next week looks warmer, 30s, maybe even a 40-degree reading.